My name is Lorelei Costa, and I am the Executive Director of the Outer Banks Community Foundation. Thank you so much for joining our 2021 annual meeting. This year it's a little bit different. This year we are convening virtually, and we thank you for joining us from your workplace, from your home, wherever it is that you have a computer or a phone. We wish we could be with you in person, but goodness, 2020 was a challenging year, and those challenges continue. But I have to say, after being with the Community Foundation for 8 years, I have never been so proud to be part of this organization and to partner with you all as I have been in 2020 and also right after Hurricane Dorian in 2019. It was a hard year for sure, for our community, for our entire country, but all of you, all of us in the Outer Banks and at the Community Foundation, once again, we really stepped up to help our neighbors, even when we were scared for our health, even through economic uncertainty, we stepped up and helped. And in this video, we want to share with you some stories of some of our grant partners, of our scholarship recipients, how the Community Foundation was able to help our neighbors, help our friends, help people across our community. Thank you so much for being a part of it, and I hope you enjoyed these stories.
The unique thing about 2020 is all the curveballs that have been thrown our way, and for parents in the community, one of the big things is, where do my kids go with school being out? And thanks to the generosity of the Outer Banks Community Foundation, the YMCA has been able to provide an e-learning program for children as an outlet so parents can still, work or carry on with their days. It's always fun when two nonprofit organizations come together to serve a community need. And I can't think of a larger community need than this. And it's been an incredible program to see the kids that develop skills that normally they would develop in the school, but they're doing them here at the YMCA. And we can't thank the Community Foundation enough for their generosity to make this happen. We're not turning any child away due to the inability to pay, due to the foundation's gift that was made. So the kids come here, and most of them spend the entire day with us, so they're usually dropped off between 7 and 7:30, get picked up between 5:30 and 6 in the afternoon. The e-learning counselors do the virtual learning with them, so they make sure that they're on their classroom, make sure all their homework's done. Our ultimate goal at the end of the day is that every child makes every single class, and that every child goes home with all their completed schoolwork for the day. So it's just one less burden for the parent to have to take on at home during everything else going on in their life right now. So again, we are so excited about the partnership, and Lorelei and the board, we can't thank them enough. The parents can't thank them enough. It's been an incredible program, and it's really what the Y does best. It's serving the community at a time of need.
My name is Elizabeth Silverthorne, and I'm the Executive Director of the Beach Food Pantry. What a year we've had. When the bridges closed, we were all concerned about what would happen, and we had so many people that were in need. But the Outer Banks Community Foundation jumped into gear immediately, and they offered rapid response grants, and they knew that hunger was one of the biggest needs in the county. And so they were able to help fund food for the Beach Food Pantry. And they've done that through a number of rapid response grants, and we wouldn't have made it through without them. Also, when we realized that the entire county needed some assistance, we wrote a grant from the Beach Food Pantry, but as a coordinated buying program so that the entire county could benefit from it. And the Community Foundation provided some volunteer assistance as well, because people were so passionate about the project. And then we were able to get a large amount of food that was able to be spread across the pantries in our area. And one of the things that we realized with the pandemic also is that transportation is even more of an issue than it's ever been, and even for someone to be able to get to food. And so the Beach Food Pantry had for many years dreamed of getting a van so that we would be able to be more efficient in our regular operations, but also be able to take out mobile pantries and be able to get food out to people better. And so we were able about a month ago to get that. But the van comes all standard. There's no refrigeration in the back. And so the latest rapid response grant that we've been able to get from the Community Foundation is to help us get refrigeration so that the frozen meats and the vegetables and dairy can still go out, and we can keep all of the food safety protocols in place. So we're very, very excited for the partnership with the Outer Banks Community Foundation. There probably isn't a space in this pantry that they haven't touched in some way, shape, or form over the years. And we are thankful for the fact that they serve the entire community and that they truly care.
Well, the 2 grants that we received from the Community Foundation has really jump-started our organization. It allows us to not only represent the Outer Banks, North Carolina, but also allows us to tell our story to a wider audience.
Yeah, we always say that this story, this history, is a history that the community, the state, and the nation should be proud of. So the community grants that we have been afforded have really helped us to make much more awareness to this history, particularly here on Roanoke Island and in the Outer Banks. Well, the grant is to raise awareness. We've picked 3 words with a catchy title, Freedmen, Surfmen, Heroes, and it's to make this history more known. You know, we struggle with competing with the other historical events in the area, like the Lost Colony and the Wright brothers and, you know, many things that the public are more aware of. So our Freedmen, Surfmen, Heroes initiative is a concerted effort to make this history much more broadly known.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Albanese. I'm with Interfaith Community Outreach. I'm the executive director here. I've been with the organization for 11 years. Our mission is we help people facing temporary emergency crisis. We have 5 programs: emergency outreach, cancer outreach, veteran outreach, disaster outreach, and we also do home rehab outreach. With the help of the Outer Banks Community Foundation, we were able to offer child care assistance for families in need that have to go to work every single day, can't leave their 5-year-old at home. So we were offered a $45,000 grant from the Outer Banks Community Foundation. Outer Banks Community Foundation also awarded Interfaith $25,000, which we were able to use to help pay people's rent, mortgage, any bills that they needed assistance with during this COVID pandemic starting in March of 2020. Interfaith Community Outreach has been blessed by the Outer Banks Community Foundation. We have received veteran grant over $12,000 to help veterans in Dare County and Currituck County. We have received close to $100,000 for all assistance from the Outer Banks Community Foundation in 2020. I just want to also thank Lorelei, the staff, and the board of directors for working tirelessly with Hurricane Dorian and the other nor'easters that have came through. We have been able to assist Dare County residents that have been affected by all storms. So we would like to thank the Outer Banks Community Foundation for always being there.
I graduated from First Flight and am now at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and I am so grateful that I received the Milton Jewell Academic Scholarship because it made it possible for me to be there. It's an academic scholarship for $6,000 per year for 4 years. It makes it so I don't have to work quite so much to make ends meet, and makes it so I can focus a little more on my studies as opposed to like having a job. I would love to get into video game development. I'm majoring in creative writing and new media communications, so hopefully that'll happen.
My name is Lutzi Velasquez Tovar. I am a Manual High School graduate, 2020, class of 2020. Right now I am in ECU's ribbon program for nursing. So I am dual enrolled with COA and ECU. My ECU courses online and COA courses. And my goal overall is to one day come back to the Outer Banks and help out all the youth. Thank you to the Outer Banks Community Foundation for allowing me to get all these scholarships that are pushing me to become a nurse. And without these scholarships, I probably wouldn't have as much as determination as I would have had without them.
The second that the coronavirus became front page news and we started moving towards a lockdown, one of my first calls was to Lorelei at the Community Foundation. We have a very inventive staff and a very proactive board, and we immediately hit the ground running. We came up with a wide variety of ideas. The proposal that we put in front of the grants committee was called Dare Digital Arts, and it had a number of components. The first was what ended up being a really successful new program called the Courthouse Sessions, where we would live stream local musicians and immediately get money into their pockets. So for us, the grant funds were a multiplier. We were able to invest in equipment, in know-how, in marketing to get this series off the ground. We worked with dozens of musicians who were able to raise money through the series. We worked with tremendous partners like the Bryant Cultural Series, who also came on board, so that was a multiplier effect as well. And within about a month, we had kind of a hit TV show. So the DARE Digital Arts Grant was an immediate, short-term, need it now piece of relief. But in addition to that, we've been working with the Community Foundation for 5 years on the Courtyard Project, which is our effort to convert the rear yard behind the courthouse building in downtown Manteo into a first-class art space. That project really started 10 years ago with the renovation of the courthouse. The courtyard is the final piece of the puzzle, and through 2 very generous grants from the Community Foundation, we'll probably be able to finish that project by June or July.
So 2020 really was an extraordinary year, and one way it was an extraordinary year for the Community Foundation was in the amount of money we were able to use to help our community. We gave out over $1.8 million in 2020 in grants and scholarships. A huge amount of that was for COVID rapid relief grants. We did those in 8 cycles. I've never been more proud of my board of directors, the volunteers on our board, when they were reviewing those grants, sometimes overnight, trying to get money out as quickly as possible to help people in need. We also had a great year in scholarship, helping over 75 students achieve their dreams of attending college. We also did a lot in the Southern Outer Banks, Hatteras, Ocracoke, helping to continue to rebuild and repair those communities after Hurricane Dorian, helping families elevate their homes, helping families repair their homes, sometimes completely rebuilding their homes, and get back on their feet after Hurricane Dorian.
We have been providing emergency assistance for Hatteras Islanders for more than 40 years now. Immediately after Dorian, there were 466 families who asked for help. So we were overwhelmed, but fortunately we had a lot of help. Organizations like the Community Foundation and a lot of volunteers. We were able to provide the urgent needs for all of those families. So we have replaced a lot of roofs, floors, appliances, and so forth. As we got into the longer-term recovery, what we did was decide to work on trailers because none of the federal programs covers manufactured homes. So the Community Foundation was generous enough to provide a grant to allow us to do that work.
The Methodist men as well as the Community Foundation went above and beyond for my family. After 2 storms now, we got my house beyond where it needs to be, as well as my roof's been redone, the interior so my family can live here again, and now we're getting my trailer elevated.
We would not be where we are without the aid of the Outer Banks Community Foundation. Very little process. They saw the need, they knew the need, they were able to push us through very quickly without a lot of any kind of red tape or any kind of hassle. It was an immediate need. Their rapid grants program saved lives. It has saved lives.
Having our home raised and ultimately saved, I mean, that is something that my family is forever beyond grateful for.
Of course, along came COVID, and so we have had to deal with that, and our food pantry and emergency assistance came into play, and thanks to the Community Foundation, we were able to carry on.
It has been very helpful this past year as we've had a partnership and a relationship with Outer Banks Community Foundation. 2 different main sources and way that they have helped us this year. The food pantry became an integral part ever since Hurricane Dorian, as we doubled the size of our pantry and began to expand, knowing that this year was going to be difficult for those that had a very limited income. And through Outer Banks Community Foundation, funding that came in helped us be able to purchase new equipment, food as well, which made a big difference because before our food pantry did not really have any cold food storage, which was one of the portions that we wanted to be able to expand on. So much has happened this past year, not only with Hurricane Dorian, but also with COVID-19, just the stress, people being already out of work, people already having a hard time in their family. So we had the opportunity to hire Earl Irwin to come in to actually work mental health on the island. So Outer Banks Community Foundation stepped up to that, actually helped with a grant to be able to get Earl here not only once, but actually twice.
I'm a retired clinical nurse specialist in psychiatry and mental health. People here are tremendously resilient. I got to know folks, and eventually people started coming forward individually to let me know that even though they were looking one way on the outside, they were feeling very differently on the inside. And I was able to begin to help folks in that way, talking one-on-one. And I just am really appreciative that the foundation has allowed me to be here, or has helped and be available to people. I've been here a total of 9 months so far, and I look forward to the next 3 months and continuing to work with folks.
I think when it was all said and done, there was over 400 houses that had sustained substantial damage, mine being one of them. The process of trying to recover from that was extensive. We got a lot of help from different organizations to start the recovery. The majority of the work was done by Encore. Without those folks, I mean, it would have been a long, long time before I could have ever gotten back in my house. The Outer Banks Community Foundation was instrumental in helping us to get back on our feet also. We certainly appreciate their efforts with all that they did for all the folks here on Ocracoke.
Everything we did in 2020 was thanks to our donors, thanks to our contributors, our members, our volunteers, our grant partners, nonprofits across the community, just helping people in need. And I'm so grateful for everybody in our community for pulling together. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you so much for being part of the Community Foundation. We rely on you for gifts today and in the future. Huge part of our grant making is thanks to Legacy Gifts. If you'd like to learn more about how to make a planned gift to help the Outer Banks, or if you'd like to make a gift today, please go to our website, obcf.org. And thank you again so much for being so generous with your neighbors and with the Community Foundation.